Before cities, before gods, before language, there were humans. But not like us. Different faces, different brains, different instincts. Who were they, and what happened to them? When we think of humans, we think of Homo sapiens, us. But we were not the beginning. Not by a long shot. Our story begins millions of years ago in the heart of Africa, with creatures that didn't look quite like us, yet walked upright, used tools, and took the first steps on a journey that would shape the entire world. This is the true story of the first humans, not legends, not guesses, but what science, fossils, and ancient tools now reveal about our distant origins. Let's go back 4 million years. In the region we now call East Africa, lived a species known as Australopithecus afarensis. They were small, around 3.5 to 4.5 feet tall. Their brains were no larger than a chimpanzee's, around 400 to 500 cubic centimeters. But they walked upright. And that changed everything. The most famous member of this species? Lucy, discovered in 1974 in Ethiopia. Her skeleton was about 40% complete, a rare treasure in paleoanthropology. Her bones tell us that she walked on 2 legs, though she still had long arms, likely suited for climbing. Lucy and her kind lived in a world filled with danger, saber-toothed cats, crocodiles, hyenas. They didn't have weapons. No fire. No speech as we know it. But they adapted. Upright walking freed their hands, allowing them to carry food, infants, and, eventually, tools. It also allowed them to travel farther. Fossilized footprints from Litoli, Tanzania, dated to about 3.6 million years ago, show 2 or more Australopithecus individuals walking side by side. Maybe a family. Maybe a community. Their tracks are preserved in volcanic ash, a snapshot of a moment millions of years old. This is where the human journey truly begins. Now fast forward to about 2.4 million years ago. A new species appears, Homo habilis. The name means, handy man, and for good reason. This is the first known species in our genus, Homo, and the first to create and use stone tools. Discovered in Tanzania in the 1960s by Lewis and Mary Leakey, Homo habilis fossils showed larger brains than Australopithecus, around 600 to 700 cubic centimeters. Still not human, but getting closer. They used sharp-edged stones to scrape meat from bones, break open marrow, and butcher scavenged kills. These tools, known as the Oldowan industry, are among the oldest ever found. Homo habilis likely didn't hunt large animals, they weren't strong or fast enough. Instead, they scavenged, using their tools to take what others left behind. But this behavior marked a massive cognitive leap. The use of tools meant foresight. Planning. A spark of innovation. And that spark would soon become fire. Around 1.8 million years ago, Homo habilis gave way to something bigger, literally and mentally. Enter Homo erectus, upright man. Homo erectus was a game-changer. They stood nearly as tall as modern humans, with brain sizes ranging from 800 to 1,100 cubic centimeters. They made more sophisticated tools, the Acheulean hand axe, a multipurpose device shaped like a teardrop. But their biggest innovation? Fire. Evidence from sites like Gesher Banat Yaakov in Israel suggests that Homo erectus was controlling fire over 700,000 years ago. Fire meant warmth, protection, and cooking, which allowed easier digestion and more nutrients, fueling brain growth. Even more remarkably, Homo erectus was the first hominin to leave Africa. Fossils have been found in Georgia, Indonesia, China, and Europe. They were explorers. Survivors. Possibly, storytellers. The rhythmic patterns found in ancient hearths suggest they may have gathered in circles. No written language, but perhaps the first form of oral tradition, the beginning of what would become myth, memory, and culture. They lived for over 1.5 million years, far longer than our species has so far, and spread across continents, adapting to ice ages, predators, and shifting climates. So where did they go? Over time, Homo erectus disappeared. But not because of a single event. Climate change, competition from newer species, and natural evolutionary processes played a role. But they didn't vanish without a trace. We, Homo sapiens, emerged around 300,000 years ago, also in Africa. We shared the planet with many cousins, Homo neanderthalensis in Europe, Homo floresiensis in Indonesia, and the mysterious Denisovans in Asia. These weren't primitive brutes. Neanderthals, for example, buried their dead, used tools, and created art. And guess what? We didn't wipe them all out. Today, most people outside of Africa carry about 1 to 2% Neanderthal DNA. People in parts of Asia and Oceania also carry Denisovan genes. Our ancestors interbred with these other humans, their legacy lives in our blood. We are not the only human species to ever walk the earth. We are simply the last one standing. So next time you wonder where we came from, remember this: we are not a miracle. We are a mosaic, the result of 1 million years of trial and error, of migrations, extinctions, and rebirths. Our bodies carry the echoes of ancient species, the way we walk, the way we think, even the tools we hold. We are not the first humans. We are the latest chapter in a story still being written, a story that began in the dust of Africa, with creatures who dared to stand up and look beyond the trees. Their story is our story. If you found this fascinating, like, share, and subscribe. Because this is just the beginning of our human timeline.